Hey everybody, welcome back to Cuss and Clarity Tarot, where y'all know I cuss a little bit and clarify a lot. If this reading found you, your spirit team has a message from your inner child. Now, I did do this one a few weeks back, but spirit want me to run it back because some of y'all don't listen. Okay? A lot of you may have been feeling some frustration, maybe kind of just feeling a little bit like, oh, why do things feel like something is just off? It's the lack of compassion that some of y'all have been having for yourselves. And with the pink moon coming up, pink full moon on April 3rd, it's about romanticism and like very heart-centered communication, okay? It's like encouraging you to speak from your heart with patience and understanding. And honey, your inner child is letting you know to be kinder to yourself and have more grace for yourself, okay? So if this reading found you, it's not by accident. So let's get into it. What I'm going to do today is a little bit differently. I have the pile set up, and instead of having an object or a crystal, I'm going to pull one of these Woodland Gardens tarot cards, oracle cards, okay? You can pick your pile strictly based off of the pile itself, because I do have the monster, okay, Universal Monsters Tarot, which is going to be all of the classic spooky ooky. Pile 2 is going to be the Modern Goddess Tarot, okay? This tarot is represented by modern depictions of goddesses and deities, okay? And then I have the Disney Villains Tarot for pile 3. So you're welcome to pick your pile based off of the deck themselves, or we can go ahead and pull this oracle to help you out with your intuition, okay? Let's get into it. A message from your inner child. We're going to be going over inner child, a message, okay? What your inner child felt but couldn't say. Any wounds that you're still carrying, maybe patterns, triggers, or fears, okay? How that wound plays out in your current life, like your work, your relationships, how you view yourself, okay? What your inner child needs from you now. A straight up message from the inner child. That's for pile 1. And then how can you reparent yourself? Okay, so I'm doing a 6-card spread plus some oracle for you today. So let's get your card. All right, period. So this is in the reverse. It's the eel and the iris. That one popped up face first. And then we have also the rooster and the sunflower also in reverse. Okay. And for pile 3, a message from your inner child. Let's pull some oracle. Okay. You have the coyote and the datura in the upright, okay? So I'm going to read them. Now go ahead and you can pick your pile, okay? Just based off of the visual of the pile, if your intuition is already drawing you to a pile. But I'm going to go ahead and read these oracles. You're welcome to jump straight to the timestamp if you've already picked your pile. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So for pile 1 with the Universal Monsters Tarot, you have the rooster and the sunflower, and this was in the reverse. Pile 2, you have the eel and iris, which says safety, which is also in the reverse. And I apologize. The rooster and the sunflower says communication. Okay. In the reverse, okay. And the coyote and the datura for deceit in the upright. All right. So let's see. All right. So for pile 1, the rooster and the sunflower for communication says, this is the card of the good leader and the kind king. Roosters wake before the rest of the farm, alerting everyone to the rising sun. They are protective of their territory and self-confident, but they are good communicators, honest and capable. The sunflower is often the tallest bloom in the garden, rising high above, turning its face toward the sun. While it may hover over other flowers, it bestows warmth and joy on any garden. In the reverse position, it means a miscommunication has occurred. As a leader, resist the temptation to blame others. Instead, clarify your intentions, seek understanding, and if needed, ask forgiveness. How can I improve communication? And what styles of communication do I admire in others? Okay, so that is the rooster and the sunflower for pile 1, communication with the monsters, Universal Monsters Tarot. Okay, then we have safety with the eel and the iris in the reverse position. Eels are furtive creatures, often burying themselves in the murky depths. The idiom, slippery as an eel, refers to the eel's ability to escape harm. The iris is the tall, hardy flower from which the fleur-de-lis, a medieval symbol of power and victory, is derived. Together, the stealthy eel and the mighty iris indicate safety in our homes, relationships, and work. A transgression in the reverse, it means a transgression has occurred and you may feel betrayed or violated. Anger and hostility are natural responses to betrayal. Honor your tender state by burrowing deep like an eel. Surround yourself in support and take the time you need to recover. What do I need in order to feel safe? And how can I extend safety to others? Okay, that's pile 2 with the Modern Goddess Tarot. The Coyote and the Datura for deceit in the upright position says, in the Victorian language of flowers, Datura warns of deceitful charms. It's a beautiful flower, but extremely poisonous and said to be an ingredient in the salve that allows witches to fly on their broomsticks. Likewise, coyotes are often depicted as tricksters, known for their slyness and cunning. Upright, beware the charming stranger. Before opening up to someone new, consider what they may have to gain from your trust, okay? These messages from your inner child, I believe, is not only validating maybe something you're experiencing currently, but also could be kind of giving an advisement against anything that may be coming your way, okay? So go ahead and pause if you need a moment to reflect on these 3 piles and these one of these cards. If you feel like more than one resonates with you, watch them, both or all. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, okay? You could go ahead and jump straight to the timestamp for the pile that you have chosen, and let's get into it. Okay, what's up, pile 1? You have chosen the Universal Monsters as your tarot deck for this reading. A message from your inner child, okay? Now, we're going to do a 6-card spread for inner child felt but couldn't say. The wound that you may still be carrying, okay? What still affects you today? How that wound plays out in your current life and what your inner child needs from you now. A message from your inner child, okay? A direct message, comfort, or truth, whatever it is you need to hear. And then for the 6th card, we're going to do how can you reparent yourself. Now, you always know I'm going to leave you with some practical steps, mind shifts, or boundaries to help you claim your reading, okay? So let's get into it, pile 1. A message from your inner child. Now, we did run this back a few weeks ago, but y'all don't listen, so I had to run it back. And Spirit told me that with this pink moon coming up, some self-reassurance, some positive self-talk, and maybe even some grace is necessary, okay? So the first 2 cards that come out is the Magician for what your inner child felt but couldn't say, okay? And this was in reverse, okay? And then we have the 5 of Claws, which is also going to be the 5 of Swords, okay? So that's for question 1, okay? What your inner child wanted to say but couldn't. What wound is pile 1 still carrying? What wound is pile 1 still carrying? Okay. We have the Hanged Man in reverse. Okay. For what wound is still being carried, okay? Now we want to ask, how does this show up for pile 1? Okay, these 2. The Death card and the Emperor. Death in reverse and the Emperor. Okay, I think that's Dracula. And then we have the Emperor, the Mummy, okay, in reverse. All right. What your inner child wanted to say but couldn't. A wound you might still be carrying. How that wound still shows up. And what does your inner child need from you now? Okay, what does your inner child need from you now, pile 1? Oh, okay. I'm going to take the one that fell face up, okay? Queen of Claws, which is the Queen of Swords, okay? Is what your inner child needs from you now. I know exactly what that means. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm going to get your whole spread before doing the reading, okay? A message, okay? A direct message from your inner child. We have the Page of Crypts, which is the Page of Cups, okay? The Bride of Frankenstein, and that was in the reverse. And then our final card is going to be, how can you reparent yourself? Any practical steps or mindset shifts, boundaries that may need to be set. Okay, this is going to be something practical that you can take away. And then I'm also going to pull some oracle. Okay, we have the 8 of Claws, 8 of Swords here. Okay. Okay, so pile 1, what your inner child felt but couldn't say. Okay, we ended up getting the 5 of Swords and the Magician in reverse. So for this, I'm interpreting this as defense, okay? Because we know that the Swords talks about what we go after, okay? It also can be the meaning of defense, literally a sword as a weapon of defense, okay? The Magician talks about the power that we have on our own. He even looks like he's charged with power with the lightning around him, the electricity. But in the reverse, this could symbolize powerlessness or feeling as though we lack the tools necessary to defend ourselves and actually win, okay? Like your voice didn't matter, things may have gotten twisted, misunderstood, okay, or made to feel wrong or bad about something. This can also depict a person who just who didn't feel safe being them, okay? So a message from your inner child that things that you couldn't say and wanted to could be manifesting itself in the fact that maybe during those times, you didn't feel safe being you. No matter what you say, doesn't come out right, okay? So feeling powerless, but wanting to defend, but no matter what, that defense seemed to fall short, okay? So this was someone who may have learned to kind of shrink themselves, okay? And in the other interpretation, could also have tried maybe manipulation tactics in order to survive emotionally, which is not a bad thing if that's something that was done for emotional survival, okay? The wound that could still be manifesting itself with the Hangman showing up in reverse is getting stuck, okay? Maybe feeling like that loop is still repeating itself, feeling like you're not in control or you don't have a say, okay? Feeling like it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I said. It's not going to change what happened, okay? Even if that's not a reality. It's the thought process of like, I'm frustrated. I feel like no matter what I do or say, it's not going to change anything. I'm being misunderstood constantly. So you could manifest that in feeling trapped when things don't shift as quickly as you would like them to, or feeling like even though a lot of times we repeat ourselves because, you know, we deal with a lot of different personalities, we deal with people that may be neurodivergent, we might be neurodivergent ourselves, it can bring up an old wound of feeling misunderstood. Even if this form of misunderstanding was a genuine misunderstanding, it could bring up an old wound like, oh my God, every time I try to speak up about how I feel, I always feel like someone's knocking me down. I always feel like no matter what I say or do, it doesn't come out right. Breathe, okay? Regroup and understand that old wound of what you feel like you couldn't say, or how maybe people did manipulate the fact that you're a child and take like, oh, what do as I say. We don't, you know, your opinion is not valid here because I'm the adult, I'm the caregiver, and this is what it is. That can manifest itself with genuine misunderstandings, or, you know, it could be some people that's misunderstanding you on purpose, okay? We're not going to negate that. But we also don't want to feed into that old pattern of frustration or feeling like nothing you do or say is going to change no matter what you do, because you are in control, okay? You do not have to feel forced into situations that don't feel fair, okay? You do have the power to be able to mitigate those circumstances, okay? So how that shows up for you feeling that way could be that you feel like with the death is about releasing, and when it's in reverse, this talks about people holding on to something that's supposed to be let go. So you might be gripping onto things a little tighter, okay? Because the Emperor can signify someone who is a little controlling, okay? And now Dracula, in some depictions, in some stories, he has the ability to control and shift people's moods, or people depict as charming, okay? So we want to make sure that you're not falling into that type of pattern where you want to be understood so badly that you would sometimes feel as though you're kind of controlling the outcome, okay? Be wary of struggling to let things end because you feel like you have to, like, I'm going to say what the fuck I need to say. If someone is purposefully misunderstanding you or not providing you a space to speak out, not providing you room to emotionally feel as though you can communicate, you might have to let it go, okay? If you need things to go your way in order to feel safe, you might want to reconsider how much control do you have to exert, okay? How much, I don't want to use the word coercion because that has a negative connotation, but how much like nudging do you have to do to kind of get people to see things the way that you do, okay? How much work are you putting into people validating you when you have a genuine concern? So if you need things to go your way in order to feel safe, even if sometimes things are not going to go your way, friend, that doesn't mean you're not valid in how you feel. But do you need everybody to be on board and everybody to agree in order for you to feel like this is a safety, you know? You also could be staying in situations where you no longer should, which is the death card, okay? Things that are supposed to be ending that you're not allowing to end. Maybe even fighting some changes even when you know that it's necessary. So are you sometimes becoming the Emperor energy and refusing to be the one that budges because being the one who has the last word or having control over the situation is important to you in order for you to feel safe, okay? This is the survival mode trying to protect you, but also be mindful that you don't become someone who puts another person's feelings beneath their own so that you can create a safe space for yourself, okay? But don't worry, because Big Sister gonna show you how to go ahead and get that together, because we did pull a practical card, how you can reparent yourself and some other things that you can do, okay? What your inner child needs you to do is going to be this one here. Now, the Queen of Swords is about boundaries and honest self-talk, okay? The Queen of Swords, oftentimes, the sword can be taken as like when they say like your tongue can be sharp, right? Your tongue can be a tool in a weapon. It can be a tool or it can be a weapon. So the Queen of Swords upright talks about using it as a tool, using your voice as a tool, okay? The things that you say, setting clear boundaries, having an honest conversation with yourself, okay? About your role in things and maybe how you could manage and navigate some of these relationships better. And you can be someone who says, that wasn't okay with me. Okay, you no longer have to have that fear of being misunderstood, because now you are someone who you know better now, right? As a child, it's like, damn, I'm feeling this, but I really don't have any control, because if I say something, it might be taken as talking back. I may, grown up in a household or with caregivers or in school even, where, everything that is said is always going to be taken negatively, because some adults just do not feel as though children have the same respect, right? I don't want to hear what you have to say. You're a child, me adult, right? You are no longer in that situation. So if someone is purposefully misunderstanding you, you now have the discernment to determine whether or not this is a person who feels as though you're invalid, or this is a genuine misunderstanding and the old wound is making you react to it as if they're trying to shut you down, okay? The Queen of Claws is talking about exactly that. Now you can set clear boundaries. You can have an honest conversation with yourself and determine which is which. You can speak out and say what wasn't okay and who had you fucked up. You're allowed to do that. But you're also allowed, the boundaries is really coming through, okay? Is what I'm really feeling. Because now you can determine what situations are for you. Because if you set the boundaries, those who can respect the boundaries are the motherfuckers that get to stay. Hello, do I need to run that back? You no longer have to worry about whether or not people are misunderstanding you on purpose, because if you set the fucking boundaries, those people who are willing to respect the boundaries are the only motherfuckers that get to stay. Okay? You ain't got to try to control the situation and get them to see it your way. You don't have to force a conversation on people who is really just not trying to have it. Now, a genuine misunderstanding is not what we talking about here now, friend. Don't try to take me and say, Queen said I ain't got to listen to this. No. A genuine misunderstanding is going to bring up feelings of being misunderstood by people who know better. But be sure that you're using boundaries effectively and vocalizing what you need and having clear communication so that you can determine who the fuck is playing in your face and acting like they don't get it. And a genuine misunderstanding, okay? Because you don't want to become the Emperor energy and be the person who's invalidating others. But the Queen of Swords is, baby, this energy right here is the strongest, is strong coming through, okay? It's loud. I'm going to say it one more time. You get to set the boundaries, and those who are willing to respect the boundaries are the only motherfuckers that get to stay. Okay? Okay? All right? That's what your inner child needs from you. Stop gaslighting yourself. Call the bullshit for what it is. And you are allowed to protect your fucking peace unapologetically. Okay? Now, when it comes to the overall message from your inner child, we got the Page of Crypts, okay? Which is the Page of Cups, which represents the heart chakra. I'm so sorry, y'all. That's my alarm. I apologize. The Cups, okay? Well, I'm also getting very strong air sign energy with these swords. Okay, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. The Page of Cups talks about what's in our heart. So what's in reverse is the overall message is you didn't feel it safe expressing your feelings, right? Because the page is the youngest in the deck. So I think that that's beautiful energy. Okay, the page being the youngest in the deck, as well as it being part of the heart chakra because it's in the suit of cups. It really talks about the overall message for you is we understand that you didn't feel safe expressing your feelings, okay? Maybe dismissed, ignored, mocked, okay? So now there's this block around vulnerability. You're always wondering, like, please don't shut me down like they did. I want to feel without feeling shamed. And again, friend, I can't express that enough. I fucking get it, okay? I'm feeling this reading. I know that that can be tough. But I cannot stress and iterate enough that this bitch here plays no games when it comes to boundaries, honey. You better Google the Queen of Swords, honey. And don't get it twisted. The Queen of Swords, baby, when they're talking about that sharp tongue, sometimes cussing is what the fuck you need to do to let a motherfucker know they can't be playing. Okay, now I'm going to get turned. But that doesn't change the fact that freely expressing boundaries is very important for someone who has this energy or has this wound of not feeling heard or purposely being mocked and shut down for feeling, okay? We might even be dealing with somebody listening to this reading who was a very sensitive child, and it was almost like, oh, you are always so sensitive. It's not that deep. It is if you fucking say it is. And guess what? You get to say it is. Okay? You get to say it is, and the motherfuckers that say it ain't don't get to stay. Now you make the rules. You get to say who stays and who goes. But be careful. I can't emphasize that enough. of not being the person who turns down other people's feelings because you feel as though your vulnerability, like, oh, I can't let nobody know. You don't have to feel fear of being soft anymore, especially in this day and age where we need that shit, okay? Being a soft person and a loving and joyous person does not mean that you can't set clear boundaries and make sure that the people who surround you are the people who get to surround you, who fucking, I won't say pass the test because that sounds toxic, but pass the fucking test. Okay? There is a strict policy, honey. It's a dress code around this motherfucker. You can't just come up in here and take off your goddamn shoes and stomp out over my fucking carpet with your dirty ass socks on. So if you set the fucking boundaries and make sure they're clear and they're coming from a good, healthy place, friend, only the people who know how to respect them boundaries get to stay around you, okay? So with the overall message is just that. Don't have to fear any shame for feeling, okay? And how you can reparent yourself and how you can reframe, okay? What is a practical thing that you can do? We have the 8 of claws in the reverse. I said it already. You don't have to be stuck anymore. The old narrative has lost its fucking power because you are in control. You can choose differently. You are no longer forced to be around people who see you that way, because now you're not reliant as we are as children. We are reliant on our teachers and our caretakers and maybe even our siblings, right? You have no choice. You're stuck at home with them until you get ready to go home and go on your own path. You're on your own path now. You get to choose. You absolutely get to select who the fuck gets to be around you, whether it's work, friends, relationship, your hobbies, business, people you do business with, whether you own your own business or not. You get to fucking choose. And you ain't got to compromise no pieces of yourself. You don't have to compromise no money. You don't have to compromise no relationship, no good feel good butterflies and shit. You don't got to compromise none of that. You get to say absolutely the fuck not. Not on my watch. Ilyanya. You know? You can now choose a different narrative and set yourself up, right? So challenge your thoughts, though, because remember to think through your feelings so that you are not underrepresenting what's really happening, okay? But you can free yourself from any situation that is uncomfortable for you. Now, that does not mean avoidance, okay? That does not mean I ain't got to listen to you because no, you can still communicate and still be fair in the way you're communicating. But if you see that people is treating you like, oh my God, please, this again? Oh God, you're always so sensitive. You can't take a joke. I ain't got to let you fucking joke with me like that. If I said the shit ain't funny, it ain't motherfucking funny. Thank you. And if you think that you're going to keep making these so-called jokes that I'm telling you I don't like, then you can get the fuck on. Hello. Bye-bye. Now, the way that you can get your breakthrough, okay, is realizing that you do have the options. That's it. That's all it's going to take, friend. It's just that simple. Realizing that you know what? I can say absolutely not. I can speak up and say that shit wasn't funny to me. I can speak up and say, hey, excuse me, can you please use my preferred pronouns? You got, you think it's funny? Chop, chop. Okay? Hey, I'm sorry, but I'm the business owner and we don't do that here. I don't offer that service. I apologize. You got an attitude? Best Western is down the street. You see what I'm saying? Whatever aspect this shows up for you, you are allowed to say, hey, I don't have to compromise a fuck thing. As long as it's healthy, as long as it's coming from a great and good place, you've assessed the situation correctly, right? Because I'm saying this because sometimes when we're scared and old wounds come up, we can sometimes shield ourselves from really accepting what is actually happening because our feelings be so strong, it can sometimes overshadow logic. But if all of those things check out and you say, oh, absolutely not, this person played. Snip, snip. I sure hate it for you. See you next. See you never. Okay? Your overall message, pile 1, is you went from feeling powerless to maybe being a little controlling over others to feel a little bit safe. Okay, we want to make sure we're staying away from that. But now you're being called to trust the boundaries that you're allowed to set. You're allowed to take a moment. You're allowed to decide who is around you, okay? And you do have choice. Absolutely. Now let's get some oracle, because I know y'all don't be want to believe me, okay? Now, I'm going to do my Barbie Dream House oracle here, okay? Let's get a good shuffle here for you, pile one. Okay, we got one. There's some oracle for pile one, message from the inner child. That's that. Bathtub and the bedroom. Okay. Ooh. Now let me stop playing. It could be intimacy, courage, and embrace. Okay. Be brave to embrace intimacy and create a meaningful connection. That talks about the vulnerability that we may be afraid of. Okay. Expressing yourself is healthy and you're allowed to do it. Okay. It could even mean intimacy and embrace and connection to yourself. We have bathtub, which talks about immerse, release, and glow. Your burdens will soon lift, revealing your inner light again. Ooh, I love that for you. Hell yeah, it will. Shit. Yeah. Hello. We ain't playing with it. Self-care. Okay, I'm going to get some modern day tarot here. Not tarot, I'm sorry. Oracle. Okay, to tie it together and close out your reading here. Pile one. And don't forget also, pile one, that I have created a guided journal for you to have a safe outlet to express any of these feelings, okay? It's not one of those woo-woo guided journals where you have to be grateful all the time. It is also a place for you to brag about your accomplishments, big yourself up, and know that you the shit. Know that can't nobody play with you, and also cuss if you want to say that a motherfucker had you fucked up, okay? So we got Zoom meeting survivor, okay? Roommate diplomat in the reverse, and the cat lady. Okay, now these do have meanings, so I'm going to go ahead and read them word for word. Okay, so for the cat lady, it says, imagine your home is a feline paradise, complete with cat trees in every room, more scratching posts than furniture, and a litter box system that would impress a NASA engineer. You've given up on wearing black clothes, and you've accepted that your role in life is to be a warm seat for your furry overlords. Congratulations, you're not a crazy cat lady, you're a devoted cat queen. In the upright, it means that when the cat lady card purrs its way into the upright position, you're living your best 9 lives. Your cats have more Instagram followers than you do. You can identify each of their 12, or is it 13 now, cats by their meow alone, and you've seriously considered installing a cat door in every room. You're not obsessed, you're just very, very dedicated. This is not literal, okay? It's talking about how can you balance your love with other aspects of your life, okay? If you are feeling as though you're not giving to yourself enough, this is what this is talking about, okay? It's talking about the things that we love and maybe can kind of get obsessed with in a way. But are you doing the things that matter the most to you, okay? And how can you balance what care you do for others, as a person would care for a bunch of cats, that you care for yourself as well, okay? And so the roommate diplomat in the reverse, what it says is, when the roommate diplomat card appears in the reverse, you might be a little passive aggressive, okay, as somebody would if they was putting post-it notes all over the house, okay? That can feed into not wanting to be vulnerable and wanting to kind of expect people to get it, encouraging opening up and speaking out and not passive aggressiveness, okay, in the way that a roommate would be putting a wash me sign on the sink instead of saying, hey, can you please keep up with the dishes, okay? Then we have the Zoom meeting survivor, okay? In the upright, it talks about unmuting yourself and being in an upright position, honey. You at the top of your game. Webcam angle is more flattering than a Valencia filter, and you perfected the art of nodding thoughtfully while having absolutely no idea. This is talking about unmute your mic. Unmute. Sit upright. You do have something to say, and the people will listen. And those that want to get it, and those that won't. Okay. How can you maintain meaningful connections in a virtual world? Are you truly connecting with your colleagues, those in your inner circle? How can you bring some genuine human interaction into a pixel perfect world? Okay, so what this is talking about is, in a world where everybody is so digitally connected, make sure that you are doing exactly what we talked about, communicating, making sure you're making those meaningful connections, and remember that you have the power to make those connections, okay? You are in complete control. Find time for yourself, connect with yourself again, realize that you have just as much to say. You do not have to nurture other people's feelings in order to feel comfortable or safe. You don't have to control them either. With this roommate diplomacy, would have to be passive aggressive. You can absolutely unmute and sit up straight because they gonna hear what you have to say, and if they don't, they ain't in the meeting. Hello? Exit them on out of there. Remove. Okay? Now, if you need a place to write all that down and talk shit, I created this Cuss and Clarity journal, okay? It's a place for you to rage, reflect, and reclaim. It has pages where you can write out your villain speech, but it also has pages for you to be mindful and reflect. What do I love about myself? And you can also brag about the things that you know you're doing right, okay? What feels easier than it once did? This is a complete guided journal for you, I think 180 pages or so, to check in with yourself, because every single day is not going to feel like mindfulness work. Every day is not going to feel like listing out things that make you feel great and good. So this is a journal that you can write in all throughout the year, even on days when you don't have shit to say except fuck, shit, and damn. And guess what? I wrote a place for you to do it. Okay, that's going to be linked in the description. I always appreciate everybody that comes to this channel. Keep the channel going with your support, likes, shares, and views. Now you know better. Act like it. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, A Message from Your Inner Child. We running it back because y'all asses don't listen. And in preparation for the pink moon, definitely getting some self-love and reassurance. Some positivity flowing. You may have been feeling nostalgic. You may have been feeling a little stuck and frustrated as well with this new season coming through. And we have some aventurine here with us today, signifying good luck and prosperity and growth and confidence for sure. Okay, so you have chosen the Modern Goddess Tarot and the Eel and the Iris Oracle card if you chose this pile, okay? So we're going to do a 6-card spread, which is going to talk about what your inner child felt but couldn't say, a wound that may still be affecting and how that wound shows up, what your inner child needs from you, the overall message from your inner child, and what you can do practically to move forward and claim this reading, okay? So I'm always going to leave you with some practical steps that you can take whenever we do our reading. So if this found you, it was not by accident. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you resonated more than one pile, you're welcome to take a look at those as well, okay? So let's get a message from your inner child, pile 2. These cards depict modern versions of goddesses and deities from all different cultures. So every once in a while, I may pause to actually get the direct from the booklet, because that may resonate with you as well, okay? The depiction of the particular deity or goddess that may show up in these cards, okay? Pile 2, message from inner child. What did your inner child feel but couldn't say? I'm gonna go ahead and take that because I saw that jump. Okay. The Queen of Cups in reverse. Okay. What is a wound that may show up? We have the Sun and the Nine of Wands. Okay, and that's going to be for the wound that may still be affecting you. And now we're going to get some, how does it show up for pile 2, Spirit? How does the wound manifest itself for pile 2? Okay. We have Strength in reverse. Okay. And what your inner child needs from you. For pile 2, what your inner child needs. Okay. We have the Five of Cups. The overall message from your inner child. With the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And how you can reparent yourself. Boundaries, any mindset changes or practical steps you can take, okay? For pile 2. Okay. We have the Eight of Cups and Temperance, okay? So we're getting a lot of Cups energy here, which is going to be Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, water signs, okay? We do have some fire sign energy coming through here as well. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, okay? A lot of water sign energy, okay? So with what we pulled here, this overall energy that I'm getting right off the bat is that pile 2 is soft but tired, okay? It's like your inner child has been holding it together for too long. So let's really get into it, okay? For what your what they felt but couldn't say, we got the Queen of Cups in reversed, okay? It's like she's listening to the shell to find her balance because she is a water sign, okay? She's the Queen of the heart chakra in this deck, Queen of emotional stability, okay? If she is Queen of the water, essentially, listening to the shell would be like listening to herself, okay? So in the reverse, what your inner child felt but couldn't say is overwhelmed emotionally, but also unsupported, because since this is the Queen of emotional support and stability in the reverse, it would talk about maybe having to self-soothe a little bit, maybe too early having to self-soothe, okay? Also maybe being responsible for other people's emotions. Nobody may have been holding it down, okay? Handling things on your own. And the way that that wound still affects you today is the Sun is talking about a very naturally bright and open, joyful person, okay? Very sunshiny person. But the Nine of Wands can talk about how that gets worn down over time. Look at her, she tired. She rested on those wands, okay? And again, this is fire sign energy as well, okay? This could be in your chart somewhere. This could be you, Aries, Sag, Leo. But we're also talking about overextension, okay? Maybe somebody who started off very happy and jovial and bright and optimistic and kind of just gotten tired over time, okay? Walls may be put up because these wands are also showing kind of like a wall. But look at the rainbow in the back. It's kind of blocking, okay? It's complete opposite of this. So it's almost like the kind of wall that we have to put up when we don't want to be emotionally disappointed is keeping us from like the brightness in the rainbow, okay? So that's how it can show up for you, is that maybe you're not trusting of certain people or people in general. or don't feel like people really care about your feelings. And since you've taken care of yourself for so long, and maybe even others, that why bother being someone who's vulnerable and open when I'm the go-to? It's like a who do I call if I'm always the one being called type energy. And that's what the strength is giving and how it shows up for you now as an adult. Okay, strong but kind of like exhausted on being strong. Okay, maybe over tolerating certain things because it's like, well, how am I going to say anything about the way that I feel if I'm always the one who's being kind of bombarded with other people's feelings? Okay, you've been strong for everyone except yourself is what strength also can mean in reverse. Needing to show up for you as well. Okay, because here's the real deal. If you're showing up for everybody else, whether they show up for you, that's another beast to handle, is them not showing up for you. But are you showing up for yourself in the way that you show up for others? Okay, because that's going to be the ultimate start. We can't 100% control external outcomes and how other people are going to treat us and react to us. But are you even giving yourself the love and attention and care that you give out to others? Okay, that can be tiresome. Okay, your inner child is saying, baby, we tired, we doing the same thing that we've been doing. The self-soothing is old. That's the truth. Okay, that's how it shows up. Okay, so the inner child, what they felt but couldn't say is like, goddamn, I'm the only one. Am I? Anybody else gonna do something? So now I'm happy-go-lucky to somebody who kind of tired a little bit. Still it's in there, right? That sun energy is still in there. But Jesus Christ, I wish somebody would go ahead and uplift me, okay? But you got to make sure that you're putting in that time and effort to yourself. Even if it's something that has to be learned from the scratch because it hasn't been done very often or maybe not even at all. But that's going to be a very good start, is instead of pushing through, instead of actually feeling or not showing up for yourself the way that you show up for everybody else. Okay, so what the inner child needs from you right now with this 5 of Cups is to acknowledge. Okay, acknowledge the hurt. You do not have to overlook it to stay positive, think positive. No, grieve what you didn't get. Validate the sadness. It's okay to say, like, that shit hurt. You know what I mean? You can grieve the emotional support that you feel like you didn't have. And you can let yourself feel disappointed without guilt, friend. You do not have to stay positive all the fucking time. And being upset and grieving what you didn't get, it does not mean that you're dwelling on the past, because it's coming up anyway. So why not feel it so that it can finally start to heal? Because if you keep telling yourself that, well, I have a lot to be grateful for, you know, that's in the past, I don't want to dwell, I gotta stay positive. No, you don't. You're allowed to feel it without letting yourself get stuck there. Okay, you can validate your own sadness. You can validate not feeling it. Okay, the healing is going to come through honesty, and you can say, like, yeah, that hurt, and you know what, it did fucking matter. Yeah, it does still show up today. It does still bother me. You may not be able to change it with the people that may have caused this, but you can feel it for yourself, and you can say, you know what, I'm allowed to fucking feel sad because today might be a day. It might come around holidays. It might come around your fucking birthday. You're allowed to say, you know what, it was some shit that I didn't fucking get, and I'm allowed to be upset about it. I'm allowed to feel something. I don't have to dwell there. I don't have to expect anything, but I can let it be. Let it ride. Let it come up. When it does come up, take a fucking moment and say, you know what, yeah, I'm allowed to say that this shit I didn't like it. Just because it's old don't mean that it cannot be discussed amongst yourself. You may be old from the person, maybe they don't even feel like they did it. Maybe they don't even know that they fucking did it. Maybe this is a situation where people was too busy to realize that this is what they were doing. Okay? Or it could have just been straight up lack of care on their part as the caretakers, teachers, people that were in charge when we're children, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't, you don't have to bypass it to, oh, I'm stay positive. No, grieve what you didn't get. validate your own fucking feelings and let yourself feel that disappointment or that longing for that type of, you know, care, without feeling guilty for speaking that to yourself, right? Letting yourself feel those things. So when we talk about the strength in reverse too, that also goes along with the Five of Cups. When you're feeling these feelings and validating these feelings for yourself, you're also allowed to care for yourself. Give yourself the same care that you would give somebody if they came to you and told you this same story. What would you do? How would you react? What would you give them? What would you offer them? Offer that to yourself when these feelings come up, okay? The overall message from your inner child is the Wheel of Fortune, okay? The Wheel of Fortune is also almost always depicted as a wheel, okay? It usually has the multiple sun signs. It talks about life continuously turning, okay? It talks about things coming up must come down, right? There's a balance in life of things go round and round. Sometimes we up, sometimes we on a down, okay? It's just the circle. When it's in the reverse on the entire message for your reading pile 2 is that you kind of feel stuck in the pattern of emotional wounds coming up. Like I said, I'm really getting a strong energy that it comes around the same time of year, possibly, okay, around certain events. You're probably asking yourself, why does it feel like I'm doing all this work to get rid of these wounds? Because you are on some type of healing journey. Not only did you make it here, but I get a strong sense that you've been doing some kind of work, okay? Why does it keep coming? Why does it keep coming in? When am I not going to feel this shit anymore? Why does it feel like nothing is changing? Why does it feel like the same emotional wounds keep coming up, okay? That's what this overall message can be saying. With you not letting yourself feel it, it is going to kind of feel like it's continuously to repeat because you think that that means staying stuck in the past if you allow yourself to acknowledge it. It's not, okay? Not acknowledging it is kind of giving it a little bit of power, because if it keeps on cycling each time and you kind of just say, stay positive, don't think about it, don't let that shit get you down, instead of being like, you know what? I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about why. What is triggering me? What is bothering me? And yes, if you validate yourself into saying, I'm allowed to feel upset, I'm allowed to grieve what I didn't get, you take away the power of those who are not emotionally available, because now you're emotionally available for yourself. Okay? It'll also help you to recognize emotional availability in others, so that maybe you'll start to feel more comfortable relying on other people to help you and care for you in the same way that you cared for them. That's exactly the message coming through on how you can reparent yourself, per se, and what practical steps you can take to claim this reading, okay, and to start to move forward for your healing. This is a very beautiful energy with the Temperance in the Eight of Cups. It's giving real strong Sag energy, also any other fire sign as well, but the Temperance card is the Sag card. So with a lot of fire sign energy coming out through here that could be somewhere in your chart, okay? It could be asking you to invoke a lot of fire sign energy, where baby fire signs are, if nothing but resilient. And we gonna forge our own goddamn path, whether we got to burn one down or you let us through. Either let me through or I'll burn my own path, honey. Please, okay? Temperance is also about balance and gentleness, emotional regulation here. Okay, she got 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the grass. She's pouring into one cup, and we can imagine that she would reverse it and pour it into the other. It's about balance, okay? Their sun shines again in this reading, okay? And she dressed like a boss, honey, but she still got these 2 tattoos on her sleeve, so she not to be played with. She could be classy and a little bit rock and roll. She could be classy, a little bit hood. She could be classy and still. Okay, hello, don't let the smooth taste fool you is what this is saying. You know you're all of these things, but are you allowing yourself to believe it? Are you allowing yourself to believe that even if this did not show up for you in the way that you needed it to when you were a child, you have been that person for others, which is a very good testament to the fact that you did not lose the ability to care just because others didn't do it. So if you have the ability to care because other people rely on you to care for them, and even though it's tiring you, that means that you have that same strength to attend to yourself as well. That's where the healing is going to begin. And like we talked about, forging a past. Okay, the Eight of Cups is talking about from walking away what drains you. Okay, forging your own path forward, choosing a peace over any type of chaos, pouring back into yourself, all of the things. You are capable, because sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for, yes, what you didn't get should have made a person emotionally stunted. It should have caused a person to not have any examples on how to be there for others, but yet you did it. It's because it's in you. You're still this person here. That can't be taken. It can be paused, it can be forgotten, but it cannot be removed, okay? So if you continue to have this quiet power about choosing yourself, okay? Because look how she is dressed, honey. I can't get over this, okay? This is a power outfit if I ever seen one. Okay, she got the pearls. She got the little pixie cut with the tattoos showing, with the cinched belt. Let's stop playing. I'm finna see who this is. So this is saying that it is Inanna, okay, which is a goddess from Mesopotamian tradition, where it talks about opposites balancing each other, okay? In the legend, she had a dark sister, okay, Ereshkigal. I'm so sorry. Inanna is the bright world, okay? Her sister is the seed that waits the underground. But together they form the complete feminine. Inanna is grace and peace, and Ereshkigal is rage and destructive fury. They cannot exist without each other. Similarly, it seems that alchemy permeates the life of a revolutionary like Coco Chanel from the creation of her famous No. 5 perfume. Created, she said, because a woman must smell like a woman, not a rose. To the elegant yet comfortable and free style of her outfits that balance grace and minimalism, female and male, Chanel epitomized a timeless balance of opposites. Okay? This is talking about exactly what we said about balance. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to acknowledge the dark parts of yourself, but you are also still the bright, because, baby, they can't exist one without the other. How do you know if it's bright if it ain't gonna get dark? Okay? So you don't have to count yourself out of like, man, I used to be so happy. I ain't no used to be. Okay? That's still there. Like I said, it can be paused, it can be forgotten, but it can't be taken. If you remember to balance out your life, meaning that you give to yourself as much as you give to others, Spirit is essentially promising you that this cycle that you continuously feel like you're in, it won't be there for long. Okay? If you stop learning to endure and accept instead of receive, right? Feel your feelings, walk away if it hurts, letting your life become softer again, balancing yourself, accepting the good with the bad, accepting the dark parts of yourself, getting into the state of mind where you're allowed to feel the feelings, even if you feel like I'm too busy for this shit. No, find time. I don't give a fuck if you got to write it down on the calendar and say, cry at 3 o'clock. Okay? Scream at 3 o'clock. We all have some kind of moment. If you on your way to the, I'm about to say Starbucks, but I guess I already said it doesn't matter. Okay, if you want to go there or not, I don't know. But if you're on your way to Starbucks, I'm going to side-eye you a little bit. Cuss why you on your way to Starbucks. Say what you need to say. Feel those feelings. If you only got 5 minutes, take them. Okay? Because that's a start. But ignoring it and saying, I got to stay peaceful, I got to stay happy, even if you have family or you have people relying on you or you have a very demanding job, if you're a parent, sometimes finding a few moments to yourself to even think about these things can be difficult. Get creative. Okay? But feel the feelings and make sure that you're allowing yourself time. Because let's be honest here, friend. I don't even know why I have to tell you to find time, because you're finding time to help everybody else. Okay? So the lesson here to take away from this is, what would you say to somebody if they told you your story? Okay? If someone told you your story, what would you say to them? How would you offer them guidance? Okay, that's a start to offering yourself that same guidance that you would typically pour into others. So let's get some oracle to solidify this reading. Okay, let's get some oracle here from the Barbie Dream House Oracle. It's okay if you a man. It's nothing to it. It's just some cards. Okay, but let Spirit choose some of this oracle for you here for pile 2. Okay, so we have hammer, fish tank, and a tea set. Okay, friend? So your messages from Spirit is focus, impact, and precision with the hammer. Okay? Well-aimed blow. A well-aimed blow is worth 100 random strikes. Know exactly where to apply your force. What this means is just what I said. If you swinging all every which way, trying to balance everything without taking time for yourself, that doesn't create much handiwork. But if you aim correctly, that's precision, right? So take the time, okay? Find the time to make sure that you are precisely caring for yourself the way you care for others, okay? Fish tank, harmony, few, and space. Too many fish suffocate, too many contacts drain your vibe. Self-explanatory. I know they ate you up with that one. Tea set, talk, discernment, and protection. Use discernment in talk and protect yourself from gossip. So if you're worried about talking to other people based off of what you think they'll say or do, like definitely use your discernment, but don't be hesitant to talk to other people and get into the mindset of letting people be there for you. Because you think that like, well, I've always held it all together. Okay, use your discernment definitely on who you should be talking to, but also don't let that deter you from thinking that everyone's going to have those intentions, or that there's no one that is going to give you that type of balance, okay, to give you that same type of care that you give to others. Okay, so pile 2, that is your clarity. Okay, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And don't forget that I do have the Cuss and Clarity journal currently ready and for sale. Okay, this is a guided journal for you to be able to release any feelings that you have, journal, free write, as well as there's prompts in here that cover every facet of our lives. You don't just have to be woo-woo. You don't just have to always be grateful. Okay, what do I want to scream but can't? Write your best villain speech. But there's also going to be time for what am I doing right? What do I love about myself? Etc. Okay, we have boundary checkers to make sure that you're checking in with yourself, practicing mindfulness. But mindfulness doesn't happen every single day, and every single day we don't feel like being woo-woo and grateful. So some days you want to cuss and you just want to say, I can't believe this bitch thought. Okay, I know they tried it. So it's a very balanced journal in my opinion. So get your copy. Link is in the description. Now you know better, pile 2. Act like it. Welcome to your reading, pile 3. You chose the Coyote and the Datura, as well as the Disney Villains Tarot deck. We're going to be running back a message from your inner child, okay? I'm going to do a 6-card spread on what they felt but couldn't say, the wound, how that wound shows up and manifests itself today, as well as what your inner child needs, the overall message from your inner child, and an outcome. So like how you can reparent yourself, some practical steps you can take to claim this reading, okay? Let's get right into it. Take what resonates again, okay, and leave what doesn't. If you resonated with more than one pile, just jump to the timestamps. Ooh, right off the bat, okay? Just jump to the timestamp. So we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So what they wanted to say but couldn't. What they felt but couldn't say, okay? What your inner child felt but couldn't say. Now we have the wound that might still be showing up, okay? the world, okay? How that wound manifests itself today, we have the Hermit in reverse, okay? What does pile 3's inner child need? Spirit. Okay. We have true love, which is the Lovers, okay? And the Magician in the reverse, okay? And this is, what do they need? What does your inner child need? Excuse me. What's the overall message from pile 3's inner child? Okay, we have the 4 of Wands. We got Jafar, okay, 4 of Wands. We're getting fire sign energy here. We also have some Libra energy with the World, okay. And that's what the overall message is from your inner child with the 4 of Wands. And then we're going to get you some practical steps. How can you reparent yourself? What boundaries can you set? Maybe some other types of thinking that we can implement to help you claim this reading and move on to some healing, okay? And we have the 2 of Swords. Okay, so we came out with the Ace of Wands in reverse for what your inner child was feeling but couldn't say. The World for the wound that you might still be experiencing. The Hermit in reverse, so as what that wound can be manifesting, how it shows up in your life today. What your inner child needs, we got the Lovers, and then we have the Hermit, the Magician in reverse. The overall message and theme for your reading, what your inner child has to say to you, the 4 of Wands, and then what the outcome, what you can do, how you can progress forward with the 2 of Swords, okay? So with the Ace of Wands being what your inner child felt but couldn't say, is going to talk about a spark getting shut down. Excuse me. This is a fire sign energy, okay? Wands represents our actions, the things that we go after, our desires, as well as it's giving Aries, Sag, and Leo energy from this suit. But in the reverse, it can talk about when our creativity and spark kind of gets shut down or discouraged, okay? Like maybe some excitement was dimmed. Feeling like what you want doesn't matter. Maybe you come from a household or even in school where maybe you wanted to be, you know, like the cliche. I want to be a singer, but my parents want me to be a doctor, okay? Maybe your creativity was not cultivated and maybe you're struggling with your creativity even now because maybe you came from a very academic household. And so creativity was looked at as less than intelligence when creativity takes a whole lot of intelligence, okay? Maybe even creativity in the way that you expressed your outward appearance, okay? You wanted to express yourself, but something kind of stopped you. You didn't feel motivated to kind of shine. This could even be talking about maybe people who have a gender identity that they aligned with that did not get nurtured or cultivated, okay? It can talk about any form of self-expression, whether it be through art or your personal expression through how you present yourself to the world, okay? And so the wound that this created was just a premature kind of closure, okay? Growing up too fast, pushing things to completion before you were ready. Things kind of got like a chapter closed before you really fully got to like experience it and live it, okay? Maybe you didn't feel like you got to be a child per se. Okay, like the kind of cliche where you got the kid doing the viola lessons and the piano and, you know, that got soccer practice at 3 and then, you know, you don't get to go outside and play and ride your bike and all you want to do is just run and jump and cut the muck, but you got a full fucking schedule as a child, okay? It could also be maybe you're the eldest and taking on some responsibilities, and those responsibilities caused you to kind of miss out. But whatever it was, that is the wound, okay? The idea of growing up too fast feeling as though maybe your childhood, the kind of light was snuffed out a little bit, per se, okay? How that shows up for you today, we have the Hermit in reverse, okay? The Hermit talks about necessary retreat when it's in the upright. But when it's in the reverse, we can sometimes shut ourselves out from others, okay? Maybe you kind of turn off any fun parts of yourself, possibly, okay? You might even isolate yourself, but not in the healing type way, okay? It's not the type of isolation or retreat that we do to regroup and kind of get grounded. It's the like avoiding because you feel uncomfortable expressing yourself now, okay? You might even feel disconnected from your inner self and maybe even feel as though, well, shit, nobody really wanted me to be myself then. I can't be myself now. Maybe you don't. Maybe you struggle with knowing what that means, okay? Maybe you struggle with really knowing what it is that you need. And now you're in this kind of cycle where you do things because they need to be done, but you don't really know where to start to do the things you love and want to do. Maybe you kind of think that like, I don't even know what the fuck I love. Honestly, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't even really, I don't have much to say about my childhood, kind of. And not in a negative way. Like I'm getting an energy that you came from a nurturing home, but that part of you wasn't. Okay, having fun may seem like a chore to you sometimes, or having fun, it might be something that you reward yourself with, but not in a healthy way. Like, okay, I will call up some friends and see if they want to go to the movies after I meet this deadline, instead of just allowing a schedule to flow. You might even still be somebody that is on a strict schedule, and you might be penciling in some fun, okay? And sometimes fun might seem daunting and kind of chore-ish because you feel like you have to pencil it in instead of just letting it flow out, okay? But regardless of what it is, maybe even your self-expression, like I said, maybe you're struggling with knowing how to express yourself outwardly in the way that you dress, your style, how you present yourself to the world. This could be, again, touching on gender identity as well, if that resonates with you. If it doesn't, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But this is definitely about any form of expression that got stifled and it left a wound of you feeling kind of uncomfortable being yourself sometimes, okay? So you kind of retreat and maybe hide parts of yourself from people, isolating a little bit. And you might even, like I said, feel like I don't even know what I want anymore. And so you're kind of ignoring your own inner voice. You might not even know how to guide yourself, really. Like kind of listen to that small little voice inside you, or listen to that inner child. And maybe, like I said, feeling like fun is kind of like a chore, kind of. Okay? And what your inner child needs, we got the Lovers. Okay? We got fake Ariel, Ursula. Okay? Ariel and Prince Eric. And then we have the Magician, okay, from Princess and the Frog, Dr. Facilier, I think, okay, in the reverse. So what your inner child needs is, this is gonna be deep now. Self-connection is what the Lovers is about, okay? Believe in your own power again when it comes to the Magician, because the Magician talks about we hold all the cards. So now you are able to express yourself freely because there is no outside influence making you feel like you have to be stiff. And it could have meant well, right? Well-meaning sometimes can be a little overbearing, but it doesn't take away the impact, right? So even if, like I said, this was a very good and loving home, they may have taken away that part of childhood because maybe the schedule was too strict. It was too rigorous. Maybe studies were prevailing over everything else. So now you kind of live in that same rigidity where you are stuck on a schedule. And for those of you whose creativity and self-expression was just completely shut down, right? And it wasn't coming from a loving and nurturing place, that your expression of self was put down, you're maybe struggling to be somebody who can be authentic at this time, okay? So what your inner child needs for you to do is to reconnect with yourself and choose yourself, believe in yourself again, okay? Believe in the power and the magic of just being you. Find your people. Okay, be around people who allow you to express yourself without judgment. And if you find yourself in positions where people are starting to seem familiar to you, if they're starting to seem like the familiar people that kind of stifled you or kind of try to shut your light out, stay away from them. Okay, the overall message with the Four of Wands is just talking about how you want to be safe and stable. Okay, you want to feel good in your own skin. You want to feel good with yourself, and be celebrated for who you are. Okay, a sense of belonging and community. Okay, a good soft place to land, per se. Okay, joy, stability, celebration. You just want to be seen for you is what this overall message is. Okay, your inner child is telling you that you have a deep longing of wanting to just fucking be seen for who you are. No fucking gimmicks, no strings attached. Just let me be me. Okay, in order to do that, and how you can reparent yourself and how you can reframe is if you're in indecision, because that's what the Two of Swords is talking about, right? Being indecisive of what you actually want to do. Stop ignoring what you already know. If you're choosing a direction, even if it feels scary, just choose. Learn to trust your intuition again, and stop fooling yourself into thinking that nobody's going to care, because this is a whole new ball game. Now you're not a child anymore where you're kind of under the thumb of your parents and you kind of just have to go, or even, any caretaker, even if it happened at school, it could have been other kids even. But there's a definite wound from childhood of not being oneself. Whether it was missing out on childhood because you had a stiff, rigid schedule and you were taught about academics more so than, being able to have fun, growing up too fast, or even if your light was just dimmed out because your expression was uncomfortable for the adults around you or even other children. Okay, but now you are an adult and you get to choose. Now you get to choose. So if you were a type of kid that loved to dance and people was telling you like, please, it don't matter if you good at it. Now you know that you can go and seek out people who just love to fucking dance, don't give a damn if you good at it, or if you are good at it, then you can go and join you an academy. We got TikTok, we got YouTube. There's endless possibilities on people to be able to know you for who you are without any judgment. Okay, knowing and understanding, friend, that your spark it's not dead. It didn't get suppressed. It didn't get cut off. It just got pushed down, right? Suppressed, yes, but it didn't die. Okay, so your healing moment is just learning how to make the decisions based off of what you want. Choose yourself. Reconnect with your inner voice. Create a life that feels like home to you. Okay? Reclaiming your spark is totally fine. Now, in an adult world where they tells us that, absolutely not, especially if you have money. Who's going to fucking stop you from putting a giant water slide in your fucking backyard? Who? Who's going to stop you from going and buying a birthday cake for no other reason other than it's Wednesday? Who's going to knock your creative expression? Dye the hair, do the makeup, wear the funky clothes, decorate in as much color or whimsy as you feel like it, collect the fucking stuffed animals if that's what you like to do. Okay? Ain't nothing wrong with still you like Mickey Mouse and you see a Mickey Mouse figurine and you like, that's childish. Put it on your fucking desk. Add a little bit of whimsy to it. Add a little sprinkle. Who gonna pop you? Make time in your schedule if you feel like fun is something that doesn't come easily for you. But if this is about your self-expression and it got shut down and you just wanted to just be a kid, you just wanted to just love what you love, you just wanted to be who you were, take that shit back. Because there's so many people in this world that if you do not exit from the bubble, friend, you're not going to be able to see how, and this is not a dig, but just stay with me. Your situation's not unique. You might not be as weird and awkward and offbeat as you think that you are. What happens in childhood when we get made fun of or bullied, or parents don't want to cultivate these dreams, or they stifle this type of light, they stifle this type of expression. They may have had strict religious rules. Whatever the case is for you, pile 3, as an adult, you get to choose. You get to choose to be alone as well if you feel as though you can't find your people. But that's almost impossible in this world where self-expression is absolutely easier to come by, right? Finding people that will accept you for just existing, having like-minded folks around you is absolutely a choice that you are able to make. But the Two of Swords is telling you that you're indecisive about doing it because you're still holding on to the wound of people not accepting it. Your inner child is afraid of not being accepted. But you also need to be wary of taking on other personalities or maybe trying too hard to fit in because you still have that wound of people not treating you with the respect and love and care that you should have received, of just existing and wanting to express, okay? And again, I want to iterate that if it applies, let it. If it doesn't, it'll fly, okay? But if this is about your gender expression, if this is about your sexuality, I understand how that wound can still present itself, but keep in mind that you are able to seek out those like-minded individuals. You are no longer held underneath the thumb of being within a small group of people, whether it was your family or your small elementary, middle, high school, okay? There's so much more out there in the big world and you get to choose it, okay? Reclaim your magic. Love yourself, the lovers, okay? True love is what this says. True love to you. Magic is within you if you reclaim that magic, if you're willing to do it. But what needs to happen and what your inner child is saying is, in order for you to receive the freedom of your expression, no matter what form it comes in, your ability to enjoy life and feel safe at home amongst those like-minded, just be free. You have to accept that that's what you want to do, and you have to make a decision and take at least one small step towards it, okay? Spirit is saying remove yourself out of the romanticizing phase of what you want to do, what you should do, what you could do, and just try something first. Try one thing first, okay? And let's get some oracle to solidify this reading, pile 3. I'm going to use the Barbie Dream House Oracle today. Excuse me, it's getting cold. I got the air up too high, y'all. All right. Let's get some oracle here for pile 3. Message from inner child. Okay. And also pile 3, I do want to iterate this because this is coming through. If your situation is that you felt like you couldn't express yourself, so therefore you might be somebody that's afraid of expressing themselves, and that can come off negatively to others if they feel as though you're not being authentic, and you sometimes get hit with people thinking that you're fake or that you're inauthentic or that, you know, you're trying too hard to fit in. It can be difficult as an adult to come, you know, to deal with those feelings of being bullied for trying to express yourself, right? And that's a loose scenario that I'm giving, okay? It may not apply to you directly. But being somebody who may have, you know, been bullied for their self-expression, maybe bullied for just being themselves, you know, and now as an adult, you're kind of feeling those same feelings again. But this time, hear me, friend, okay? This time, the kind of off-putting, maybe people being standoffish towards you is now not because you're being who you are. It's because you're not. Okay, so take that into consideration if you start to feel that fear again of making the decision to fully express yourself for who you are. Keep in mind that if you're not met with the energy that you're hoping for, it's not because you are who you are. It's because you're not being authentic, okay? This is completely opposite of where it started. Where it started was I couldn't be myself. Ideas may be getting shut down. Dreams and attributes and stuff being met with the proper care. self-expression was limited. Maybe I wasn't heard. It's completely opposite now. People are standoffish maybe a little bit towards you, and maybe you don't feel like you kind of quite fit in because you're not being yourself. And the inauthenticity is coming through, and people are maybe can't get a valid read on who you are. So keep that in mind if you ever start to feel fearful of trying to express yourself outwardly to the world, and really hone in on being yourself, right? Reclaiming that magic and being your true love. Finding that love of yourself again, and finding that magic, reclaiming that spark inside of you. Think of how much better it will be now that you get to choose the outcome, and you get to choose who sees you, especially when we're talking about school, okay? Because that's coming through. If we're talking about the responses that we get from people when we're children, when we're in school, those responses, they still exist, right? Because adults can be the same way, but now you get to choose. You're not stuck at a school anymore. You're not stuck in your hometown. Now you get to venture out and purposefully choose people that want to choose you. If it was at the hand of your parents not cultivating who you are and not nurturing your true self, you still get to choose who to be around and completely express who you are. Okay, it might be a slow process, but Spirit wants you to know that it is okay for you to emerge as your true motherfucking self. Just start with small steps. Make the choice, okay? No more indecision. No more fakery. No more trying hard to fit in. Fit in with the people who just let you be. Not try to tailor yourself because that old wound is still there of people not completely accepting you, okay? So, Pile 3, let's get some messages. Oracle for Pile 3, Spirit. For Pile 3. Let's get some closing messages for Pile 3. Message from Pile 3's inner child. Okay, we have stairs. Oh, okay. Well, we gonna run them. Okay, we have stairs. Okay, focus, presence, one step at a time. Distraction is the enemy of ascent. Like I said, one step at a time. Something small. Okay, we have the maid. Assist, care, support, and share. A kind soul will soon arrive to ease your daily burdens. There you go. You finna find your people, friend. Hello. Flute glasses, success, joy, raise. You'll emerge victorious, prepare for a grand toast. I know that's right. Uninvited change arrival. The arrival of an uninvited guest will alter your plans. Now, this uninvited guest can be negative self-talk. It could be somebody that you maybe thought was cool with you, that's going to see you popping out and now try to come, no, you didn't like me when you see what I'm saying? Now, beware, okay? This could also be of your own mind, and beware of anything creeping up like, oh, do they really like me? Do they really care about me? Like, is this the right idea? Yeah, be who you are. 100% be who you are, okay? Microwave, timing, efficiency, and results. Timing is right for your quick results. Use your efficiency wisely. Hello, baby, it's coming quick. And look at the butterflies talking about transformation. Emerge, okay? Emerging as our true selves, okay? And then we have balloon. Decoration, surprise, event. A shining facade often conceals a fragile core. Be wary of temptations that seem too perfect. Now, this, friend, is really deep. Okay, listen. A shining facade often conceals a fragile core. This is you. I'm going to be honest, because this is the message that has been coming through that I'm feeling from Spirit, is that you might be somebody that kind of tries to tailor yourself to what other people expect of you, or tailor yourself to fit in. That's the shining facade, okay? The fragile core, don't let those words deter you, but it is starting from a place of vulnerability and a place of like, I want to be myself, but I also really wanted to fit in, and maybe, you know, didn't really get seen or overlooked. And now you're kind of, you know, battling this catch-22 where it's like, well, people don't really think that I'm being myself. You know, well, yeah, people can see that, right? So it says, be wary of temptations that seem too perfect. Be wary of the temptation to continue to do that. because that is your comfort zone. If I'm being honest, your comfort zone is possibly maybe hiding yourself. And even if this is with, you know, identity or sexuality, if the comfort zone for you is to keep that hidden and keep that away, be wary of the temptation on trying to do that. Okay, this is your chance to pop out. This is your chance to show people who you truly are and be comfortable doing it. Because those who stifled you, those who tried to suppress you, those who tried to silence you, they don't fucking exist around here anymore. And if they do, you have the freedom to cut that shit loose. Okay? And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant, which is exactly bucking against the norm. Okay? The Hierophant is talking about bucking against the norm, whether that be social norm, religious norm, norm around your neighborhood, norm around your friend group, norm around your family. The Hierophant talks about bucking against the norm and doing the opposite of what you think people expect. Okay, so that solidifies your entire fucking message, friend. Be who you are despite what the fuck the people think. Okay, absolutely be your 100% authentic self, because then there's going to be success. There's going to be room to celebrate. These stairs, look at how these stairs is built. They just look like somebody walking down making a fucking debut, period. Okay, timing and efficiency. They say this is going to be quick. The maids say somebody is coming. Okay, you may have been looking for a relationship, a friendship, some new opportunities, whatever it is, baby. Spirit say that as long as you stay true to your goddamn self and you know that you're doing your best to stay authentic and you're not trying to fit into somebody else's box, we gonna pop out for you. Universe said everything you want is waiting on the other side of your identity. Hello. Thank you. Now don't forget, Cuss and Clarity Journal is out and is for sale. And this is a place where you can do everything we just discussed here in your reading. You can write about all the things that piss you off in the cuss section. Hello. Then you can head on over to talk about what are you doing right? What do you love about yourself? Okay. People that mean something to you, etc. This is the mindfulness, right? This is your clarity. But you can also, I know as adults they tell us don't brag, don't be cocky. Absolutely not. Write the lyrics to your reclamation song. Reclaim your power. What energy are you calling back? You can absolutely pat yourself on the back and say, I am the shit. But make sure your boundaries stay checked. Okay? And if somebody's trying to play with you, you don't let them do that. If this is something that you think you're interested in or something that you think somebody else will be interested in, please share the link. The link for purchase is going to be down here in the description. And now you have your clarity, okay? That's your clarity for today, your inner child message. Now you know better. Act like it.